you guys,
Yeah.
we might be fucked. I'm just saying.
It just now in real time occurred to Sarah that we may never have a
Yes.
fat bear competition ever again.
You guys.
Not the fat bears.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Say Smut, a literary podcast for readers and non-readers.
If you are looking for a podcast for readers and non-readers, you came to the right place. That's Sarah, and she loves books.
And again, if you're a non-reader, don't be deterred because that's Hope, and she loves talking to me about books. Each episode, I break down the plots of some pretty wild books to Hope, who has not, in fact, read them. Stop highlighting parts of our page. It's freaking me out. I'm
sorry. It's my fidget.
I didn't look. I realized that we just did a bear-related thing, okay? And I'm about to do it again. This one's kind of chill, if I may say so. So I didn't really know. I went down, I sent you a voice memo because I went down a track of a different one by the same author because she has like a dark monster romance series. And I was like, a crow monster.
What?
Coming in and sweeping somebody from their ice fishing shed. That sounds wild, but it was a little too non-consensual for me to feel comfortable conveying to you. So I went a softer route, quite literally, because we got a fuzzy bear in today's book. It's The Bear's Mate by Adrian Blue.
Good.
Hey, good. I feel like, but here's the thing. I feel like we've had some extreme ones lately.
Sure. Yeah, you
and
can
I was
say
like,
that.
Let's dial it back because some of the plot of this one's going to seem very familiar.
So you said, let's dial it back with a bear?
Look, we had a praying mantis that a woman turned into a praying mantis so the praying mantises could have sex together.
Mm-hmm.
We had a phone that was based off of not real life events, based around maybe a signal chat.
Mm-hmm. Air quotes.
Yeah. And so I was like, there's some kind of wild shit. Let's go back to some of our original roots. And you're going to see that these are very familiar concepts as we did something. What am I thinking? Given to the Ghoul is a similar concept to this book. We also had that one dinosaur one. Jesus Christ, not Don Juan Velociraptor. It's going to bother me. I will pull it up.
Taken by the Triceratops? Is that one?
Yes. So it's the same blueprint. And I thought, why not add a bear? So that is what we're going to do today. Content warnings. If some of these are triggers to you, no worries. Come back another time. It is sexual content per usual. It is also bestiality. I mean, yes. I don't know why I'm putting a question mark. I don't know why. We've done only one other that's been clear bestiality, and that was the unicorn one. And I was like, "Oy." I don't know why, the bear bothers me less than the unicorn did, but we'll get into it. Parental emotional abuse is also going to be a trigger. So
it's crazy how that can manage to find its way in a 17-page book involving a bear.
You'd be surprised what we can fit into a short book by this point.
5 for the plot.
On Storygraph as a 3.3 and on Goodreads as a 3.86. And I want to tell you a little bit about the author. This is from Adrian's Amazon bio. Adrian Blue is a romance author who writes short stories about a wide variety of monstrous creatures and the women who love them. Some are romantic love stories, some are ships passing in the night, but all are full of spice.
Great.
I love it. Are you ready to jump into The Bear's Mate?
Yes, let's dive into the woods? ?
There's a body of water. We can dive into a river.
But is there like a body of trees around it?
There's a body of a lot of things around it. Okay. There's bodies of trees. There's bodies of water. There are bodies of bears.
Okay.
This might sound shocking. So we open on a very tense meeting among elders of the village.
Of bears?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No, that's fair. This is not a Goldilocks situation quite yet. So These elders are going to decide our main character, Reagan's fate, along with some of the other girls from her village. Reagan is known, like, Reagan has known that she has this fate in front of her, but if she doesn't go forward with it, her father will likely marry her off to her mother's gross cousin. And she's like, I'm fucked either way.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly would like this fate that the elders are going to probably pass on to us.
Yes.
Now, the elders are determining whether they should send these young girls to be sacrificed to the demon bear in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
He's killed every sacrifice they've sent so far, and nothing can appease him. So, who is this demon bear, you may ask?
It just seems like I just want to backtrack because had they not thought that maybe killing is what he likes, so they are appeasing him because they're letting him kill stuff? Were they expecting a different outcome?
This is a 17-page book. You're going to find we don't address a lot of things in this, but
we've got sad parental trigger warnings if we can fit that into the podcast. I don't think my request is so crazy.
It's kind of unclear how they know that they're not appeasing him.
They just know.
Yeah, I don't know if he sent them a DM. I don't know if he was like, hey, you guys, I got to keep terrorizing you. If you guys keep sending me, only the bad cuts of meat every single time you slaughter a lamb or something. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was the conversation, but we know that he's mad. Let me tell you about his backstory, though. Okay. He was kind of a tall tale for a while when she was younger, and I think they kind of thought, oh, this is going to keep kids out of the woods. But it turns out he's a real thing. So this is a quote from the book. Quote, the bear had once been a sorcerer of unmatched power. He grew so powerful, he was able to change his physical form into that of a massive black bear. Mm-hmm. Over the years, he began to crave the overwhelming physical power of his animal form. Eventually, he lost interest in returning to his human body.
Sure.
So this has allegedly been going on for centuries, right? That he's been terrorizing the village and the village people, the people around the village. We don't have context into a timeline or
just
a
what's
location.
Happening today.
Yeah.
And always.
So before we dive too far into the bear and its potential mate, I would like you to give me some of the specs of our black bear, if you will.
I will do so in my report titled Bear Down, Ursus Americanus and What It Do.
No, I like this one. That's Bear Down. There's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options. Mm-hmm. So introducing your star bear, weighing between 125 and 500 pounds, but sometimes more like 800 pounds, and standing at around 3 feet tall when it's on all fours, but closer to 5 or 7 feet tall when standing up. It's the black bear. Before I continue further, thank you so much to the National Park Service, RIP, PBS.org, RIP, New Jersey Department of Education or Environmental Protection, not feeling good about. Wikipedia is on here anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah,
you
solid.
Understand.
Solid choice.
You understand. So Sarah, let me hit you with a smattering of fluctuating stats about black bears, with the caveat that size and weight of bears varies by sex and location and more.
Okay.
So everything's going to be in like a range of sizes a bear can be.
I don't think there's a one size fits all bears, so I get it.
No. If Goldilocks taught us anything, is that there's a lot of variety amongst all the bears.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway. First things first. What interesting lifespans you have. Bears can live to be between 20 and 35 years old. I just wanted to let you know that. I've really
never thought of that.
What big paws you have. Black bears have big paws. Their front paws are closer to 4 inches wide, and their back paws can be closer to between 5 and 9 inches wide. And that's like not including the fact that they also have big claws. That's like just toe beans.
The front ones are how long did you say the front ones?
Front ones are like 4 inches.
For me looking at my hands being like,
just Sarah's holding up her fingers like, I can estimate what 4 inches is.
I be a bear? I have pretty large hands.
Have I been a bear the whole time?
Am I getting a mate?
We're gonna find opportunity. Out.
Okay.
Let's continue to see if you match these statistics further, Sarah.
I am between 5 and 7 feet tall when standing. I will disclose that.
Not untrue. What big heads you have? Again, size fluctuation, but we've got between like 10.3 inches and 12.5 inches, or sometimes higher. I
Is
think
that
that's
like
around.
length?
Honestly, I clipped the statistics, so that's for us to guess. But I think it's long. I think
Yeah,
it's like
I
length.
think it's like forehead to chin, probably.
Yeah,
About forehead to snoot. So
if you will.
yeah.
My, what long and weird tongues you have. Sarah specifically asked me to find a measurement for the tongues of black bears, probably for no particular reason. And what
None.
I was able to find per North Carolina Zoo's hashtag Tongue Out Tuesday post from June 30th of 2020 was, quote, American black bears have long tongues, about 8 to 9 inches long, to help them gather berries, find honey, and extract insects from nests. That is double the size of an average human tongue.
Oh, well, good context, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, you know that zoo was working its ass off in June of 2020 to keep the engagement on social media.
The bottom of the barrel for content ideas. Hashtag Tongue Out Tuesday. I also want you to know that when I did my Googling to try and find out how long bear tongues are, most of the sites that popped up were taxidermy sites. I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, they would know. I
would know. Like, so that you can buy pieces for your taxidermy.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm learning a lot. Okay. Double the size of a normal human tongue. Everybody stick out their tongue.
And then just to kind of wrap it up, you didn't ask, but here we go. To quote PBS, black bears mate in the summer from late May into July or August. During this time, females travel extensively around their territory, leaving a scent trail as they move, which males use to monitor the females' receptiveness. Once paired, males and females have been known to stay together for up to 9 days, after which they both move on in search of new mates. You didn't ask, but just in case.
Oh, so it's a very short mating.
Yeah.
Like I mean they're hanging out for they're shacking up for a few days and then they're on their way.
Tinder dates.
Yeah, like a kind of a one fortnight stand, you know?
Swiping through them, pick out one, hang out a little bit.
I just realized this is going to be a tangent quickly. Did you ever watch who puts on the Fat Bear competition?
Oh, I would need to look it up, but I have followed.
It's the National Park Service. Oh my God.
Rip.
Oh my God. You guys, this is bad.
We can't lose the Fat Bear competition.
Wait.
Amongst other really important services provided by the National Park.
Look, as somebody who doesn't trust forests at all or any sort of nature scenes, I have to say that this is the one thing I do that's close to nature. So I'm looking here. Give me
I even like nature and I need the parks.
Yeah, well, you know me, I will give all my tax dollars to anything,
the parks.
Except for billionaires. But I will say that Fat Bear Week starts in October because they're getting ready for the winter. So I do know that I know they have a lot of bear cams. So you guys, we might be fucked. I'm just saying,
it just now in real time occurred to Sarah that we may never have a Fat Bear competition ever again.
You guys.
Not the Fat Bears.
Well, we'll have to stay tuned. Pray for the bears, you guys. Okay. Bears.
Hashtag Bear Strong.
Hashtag Bear Strong. We've
got this. Tongue Out Tuesday.
Hashtag Tongue Out Tuesday. Oh my God. Okay. Well, take the tears away a second.
Sorry to bring it down.
Jesus. Well, I brought it down. I was the one that brought it up and down. Okay. So that was your research, or do you have anything else to share
that's
with us?
it. Let's turn the ship around.
Oh my God. Let's get back into this very intense decision that the elders have to make. They have come back with a consensus. In the morning, they will send the girls into the forest. Boom, boom, boom.
So there is a forest.
Well, yeah, no, there was never. What do you think? It was a desert, and it's bare, and it
made me sound crazy for asking if there was a forest nearby.
Well, I think it sounded crazy because you said a body of forest, and
yeah, well, it was, but you knew what I meant.
Not fair. No, fair. Okay. So let's make something very clear if you haven't picked up already on the trigger warnings. Her dad's not a cool guy. He's low-key pissed that he can't sell her off in a marriage. But he's like kind of okay with it too, because there's still honor in sacrificing to appease the creature. So it'll improve his standing among the other men in the village.
Cool.
But that doesn't make him hate her any less. And honestly, her family doesn't want another mouth to feed. So they're like, happily go.
One less thing to worry about.
Yes. One less problem without you, as what Ariana said.
One less problem.
Yes. Before they head home, Dad is like, "Oh, you reek, Reagan. Go to the river and bathe. I will not have you embarrassing me tomorrow with your appearance.
Don't shame us in the forest with your stench and appearance."
And again, I'm thinking this is pretty prehistoric element, or like, a very ancient element to this.
Sure.
I don't want to say ancient. That sounds
You don't
like
think
really
it was
bad, but, like,
2025 when this was taking place?
no, I wouldn't say it was like 1925 either. I'm guessing if I would have
straight up the 90s.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like the 1200s, maybe.
Sure.
If I were to really put a date on it, maybe 1287. Feels like a good time. So obviously they're not taking baths on the regular. I'm like, okay, what do you guys think she smells like? Like, what do you guys think all the other girls are going to smell like?
I bet they all smell the same.
Spoiler alert, she's going to go to the river, but like no one else is going to be there. So I am going to be like,
river's going to make you smell better. The river.
It's a moving body of water
where creatures live. I'm just saying, like,
okay.
How you smell is probably fine.
No. So she is like, I'm going to disclose to the audience that the river is actually not a safe place because, the bear killed 3 hunters on the riverbank in the spring. So not the safest place to be. And my dad sending me there alone at night. He probably just wants me to die early.
Yeah, he's just like, we could skip all the formalities tomorrow if you just immediately get eaten by a bear.
We'll save a meal tonight and not feed her and just instead feed her to the bear.
I'll eat yours.
Yeah. Extras to go around. So she describes herself, just in case we want a physical appearance.
We always do.
Yeah. No, she describes herself as white with fiery red hair and freckles, and not pleasing enough to be anyone's wife, including like a second wife material. Like she's that apparently repulsive.
Even second wife material.
With bears and a redhead, I am thinking that this is Brave, the movie Brave.
Sexy Brave with no mom.
With no mom. Except for different mommy and daddy issues.
You ever see Sexy Brave No Mom?
There is a mom. She's just also a dick. So anyway.
I hope not. Disturbing.
No, they're both like the worst people alive. Anyway, doesn't matter. Hold on, I'm getting the hiccups. I've had the hiccups on and off all day.
Sexy Brave will do that to you.
Oh, yeah, it's that.
Sexy Brave
shit right there. Okay, so she notes that the river is violent and it's too dangerous to swim in, but she can chance a quick dip. And again, I think we're walking a very thin line of being like, is this realistic or not realistic? So essentially what she tries to do is like slip into the shallow end of the river and like, I don't really get it. She gets in to get her body wet, right? And then pops out. But she gets in and like holds onto a rock so the current doesn't take her.
Great.
And she gets out, puts her soap on. I guess maybe it's the 1400s if you guys have like high quality soap. I don't know.
That's a lot later.
Yeah. So
12.
You guys, I'm not a historian. This is not my strength. But she puts on, I'm like rubbing my arms like I'm putting on soap. I'm like
also taking a bath in the river.
In the air river that I'm in. So she puts on the soap and she gets back in. And as we all know, soap be slippery. So she does slip on those rocks and gets taken by the current.
She's lucky to have not, rocked her head.
Yeah, no.
And immediately died.
It could have been real rough.
Just straight head to rock.
Straight head to rock ratio. So she starts taking on water in her mouth, and just before she's about to pass out, a dark shape appears, and she feels a faint pain on her shoulder, but she blacks out.
Okay.
Do you have any guesses of what's happening?
For a 17-page book, I hope it's a bear.
What if I told you it was like some other woodland creature like a squirrel with
It's
almighty
her dad.
strength.
She's like, you're so embarrassing. I can't believe you almost died taking
He would have pushed
bath.
her head down. He would have
Just
been like, bitch, you're
Stay
done.
in the forest. I'm sick of it.
Okay, so she wakes up lying in an unfamiliar place in the forest. She's still naked, but there's a blanket covering her body. It was made of the softest, most luxurious fur that her father would never waste on her.
Sounds unethical.
It feels like she just drops her dad also in conversations that doesn't need her dad in it. That I was like, okay, it seems
Like,
deeper than this.
This rescuer is so nice, unlike my piece of shit dad.
Oh, my dad could
Who I
never.
hate.
When she looks down, she notices a large bite mark covering her shoulder and upper arm. And there's only one thing that was large enough to make such a mark.
Her dad.
No, this is brave, but not incestuous, but it's the dad is the bear. And never mind. I was going to try and go somewhere with that, and I don't think it would work. Oh, this is why I can't write a book.
This
Anyway,
is why.
This is why I can't come up with bear smut on the drop. Okay, so just as she is thinking about this, the demon bear comes into view.
Da, da, da.
And as they make eye contact, the demon bear gets closer and closer, but then he lies down beside her and then turns his back to her. And she's like, well, okay then. And then goes back to sleep.
Cool.
And then when she wakes up, of course, she's cuddling with the bear.
Obviously.
With her whole leg.
Cuddling.
But she has got her whole, like they're spooning or something. And she's got her whole leg over the bear. And I think he seems a little too massive to be throwing a leg over.
Maybe.
I guess I don't. She never told us how dainty she is, but typically in these types of books, they're very dainty, little women, and like
I choose to believe she's larger than the bear. I don't understand why you think that's funny, Sarah.
Well, especially as a tall girl, I get it. But my mind went immediately to the ogre smut we read. And I was like, oh, that would have been a perfect match.
Just sized bigger than a bear.
Just sized bigger.
Size her up bigger than a bear.
So the bear wakes up and starts crawling. Sorry. Let me back up a second. Reagan is now considering her thoughts on the bear because obviously he rescued her from the river to some degree. And she's like, maybe he's not that bad. But the bear wakes up and starts crawling on top of her and he licks her wound a couple of times and then starts nudging her. And she just takes this as her cue to leave. And so he leads her through the forest back to where she was bathing at the river.
Okay.
And while they walk, Reagan is relieved that she's being spared, but also she's feeling a little rejected for no reason.
If you're spared by a bear, you spared.
And you're like, well, why didn't you?
That's fair.
Was I not good enough?
Wow.
She clearly has need to appease male figures in her life,
Daddy issues.
Yeah, definitely. When they get to the river, she drops the blanket and the bear checks her out and she says, thank you. And then they go separate ways.
Finally, some attention.
Yeah. She's like, God, at least he thinks my tits are good.
The bear probably thinks, I can tell.
Yeah. There's a lot of mind reading in this, obviously.
Good.
The next morning, her mom rudely wakes her up, literally out of nowhere. By the way, she went home that night and there was no lights on. No one gave a shit where she was.
Probably disappointed to see her in the morning.
Yeah. And they wake up. Her mom wakes her up and is like, we got to go. What are you waiting for? And it's like, oh, okay, bitch. I literally just woke up. Anyway, they dress her in this red fabric for the sacrifice. By the way, no one says shit about the big bite on her shoulder.
Well,
no one gives a shit. Not sketchy at all.
She's not loved in this family.
No. So they meet up with the rest of the village where the other sacrificial girls are going and they're all sobbing and begging their dads to save them. But of course, Reagan knows her dad would never do that shit. So she doesn't even bother. She starts wondering if the bear will be kind to her again, or if by the sight of all of these young sacrificial girls, he will go bloodthirsty. And
as bears are wont to do.
And as they walk, so they the girls are kind of ushered by their dads into the forest, and Reagan expects her dad to like say something to her, like as like a passing thought or like
anything at all.
and he doesn't, and she feels rejected. But I'm also like, girl, babe, what did you expect?
What do you want from this man?
He's not going to give it to you.
He's
Not even in your
sacrificing you
final
into
moment.
a forest right now, and he's mad about it because he wanted to sell you off for marriage instead.
Yeah. So Reagan and her dad come across the bear, who is even bigger in daylight. The bear lunges and grabs onto Reagan's dress. She kind of stumbles forward and like places her palms on either side of his head. Like it almost looks like an embrace. And the bear like starts nuzzling her belly.
Okay.
And a shiver ran through her, but it was only partially fear. Just in case you were wondering where this was going.
The other part was gas.
Into jet. She had IBS. He starts nudging her with his head, making her stumble backward. But it seems like the bear wants her to run. And in that moment, she realizes her dad already left the scene. So she's like, I guess I'll play this game of like tag with the bear. Like, like, she's like, I knew he wanted me to run. I was like, how? He could have just been showing you affection. You don't know. He might have been like, why, bitch, are you running? But she starts running, and the branches are tearing at her dress, and her bare feet are being cut the fuck up. And it's not long before this dumb bitch trips over a tree root and falls onto the ground. However, the bear closes his jaw around her ankle, and it wasn't like a tight clamp. It was just like enough to like threaten her, you know, keeps it in his mouth, but doesn't like chomp. Okay. Anyway, his wet nose starts sniffling up the back of her calf and starts moving higher and higher. I'm sorry, that's ticklish at that point.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not a fan of tickles.
No, okay. Well, I think it would be ticklish. I feel like it would break the mood a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a fan of being tickled.
Oh, okay. Well, she is. And he starts moving higher and higher, and Reagan can't help but start moaning. She feels his steamy breath between her legs, and that just sounds horrible. I'm going to be honest. Given what he eats, there's no way. No, it gets better. This is when the bear really shows his true talent, which is the use of his tongue. Not only at her vagina, but also in her asshole, which she refers to as her virgin passage. Now, if you're going to lead by telling me that your asshole is a virgin passage, I'm going to assume that something else is not a virgin passage. Don't worry. All passages are virgins on her. Hey, okay?
It's all valid to me.
So he goes so deep in her asshole that she feels his teeth around her butt. Like,
wow.
Imagine him open-jawed around her butt.
Okay. I don't want to, but I can.
There you are. So he's kind of got her in like a doggy style and uses his like big paw, that 5-inch front paw, to like push down her shoulders. Okay. But she's definitely lifting her booty and like wiggling it and being like, here you are. Come and get it. You know,
this is my booty.
This is my virgin passage.
You know, my virgin passage.
So he's just doing a lot of tongue action. And honestly, I had a moment where I was like, is this literally just him eating her ass? Like, that's what I thought the whole book was going to be.
It could be.
It was not. We get this wonderful passage, which I did not mean to use the word passage again, but quote, the bear suddenly buried his nose between her legs, and his long, agile tongue plunged into her virgin body. She goes on to say, quote, she had never dared to imagine what it would feel like to have something in her most secret of places.
Shh, don't tell.
But that doesn't make sense because even though he's giving her oral, Reagan knows there's more. She says, quote, she had seen the village animals in the spring. So you do know that there are things that go in the most secret of your places.
Well, this is just the first thing to have gone in the most secret of her places. She's aware that things could go in.
No. She says here she had never dared to imagine what it would feel like to have something in her most secret of places.
Well, she just hadn't thought about it yet.
I guess she knew it was going to happen, didn't know how to feel, I guess. I don't know. So she keeps lifting.
It's sinful to think about it. So don't think about it.
Who knows if religion and purity culture is even a concept in this village? We have no religious constructs in this book, to my knowledge.
Just sounds like she thinks it's taboo.
Maybe. That's fair. So, I mean, if anything's taboo, it's him eating her ass first thing. Like, I'm sorry.
It's the principle. It's just the whole thing point blank.
You know what? Good thing she was in that river, though, the night before washing up, because it could have been an ugly sight. She keeps lifting her booty to get some action, and he finally gets the hint. Somehow he like bottoms out in her and doesn't tear her in half. I don't know. Yeah. Here's this massive black bear. We get no penis description. I will say that.
Honestly, I'm fine with it this time.
Okay. Let's also not forget that she is very vocal, and there's probably a bunch of girls running around this same exact forest expecting to be sacrificed, and yet this bitch is the one having sex with the demon bear.
I mean, I hope they're leaving.
Entirely. Just could you imagine being one of those other girls and like hearing somebody having sex and then maybe like peeking and seeing it happen and just like slowly walking away?
It's like I didn't see
here
for this.
I didn't see a damn
it's not
thing.
For me.
She is literally being eaten by that bear. But after they both meet an orgasm, which I believe she had like 2 or 3, I can't remember. He during the orgasm that they both share, he bites her shoulder again.
Is that to mark her as his mate? It sounds like some book stuff.
You just wait. I've got 3 more bullet points.
Great.
And because he's so good with his tongue, he does clean up between her legs afterward. You know, just make sure it's all clean. You are like very upset about this, I feel like.
The tongue for berries.
Look, that tongue is also doing some stuff with, you know, uncooked meats. Wild amount of blood, probably.
Gathering berries, finding honey, and extracting insects from nests.
That's the tongue. That's double the length of a human tongue.
8 to 9 inches.
So then she proceeds. She processes the fact that he bit her again in the same exact place. And suddenly she just knows it was a claiming mark.
Well, to be fair, so did I.
Yeah, but they don't have literature. She's probably illiterate. She doesn't know how books work. And he, like, when she makes this realization, she doesn't say anything, but he just nods at her as if he read her mind.
Yes, I did.
Hey, girl, don't hang your hat here because he's only going to live to be like 35 years old at max.
Yeah.
And you guys are probably only going to mate for like 2 weeks.
I think I said up to like 9 days before you just leave and go find someone else.
Okay. Let's say that their love prevails and it's actually 2 weeks.
Yeah, their love prevails, so they stay together for up to 9 days, after which they will both move on in search of new mates.
And she's for sure not fucking going back to that family. I hope not. Okay, I've got one more bullet point before the end. Do you want to guess how this is going to finish out?
It better not be pregnancy because we didn't get a trigger warning for that.
We did not get a pregnancy warning. No.
Is he going? Didn't you say he was a shapeshifter? Is he going to shift back out of shape? Be a man?
Is he going to shift back out of shape?
Yep. Become a man?
No, in fact. So I'm not quite sure why we had to make that a point. He never turns back to man.
I think probably so that you could pretend it's not weird bestiality. And I don't know that it's doing enough heavy work for that to be the effect.
Magically, a blanket settles over her and she's like, I forgot you were magical, because he probably just summoned that blanket like he did the first time. Don't worry, it's just as soft as the first one. Also, if it's made of fur, do you think that's a little bit of cannibalism or something in there?
I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, her head is spinning with so many questions, but she decides there will be questions. There will be time for questions later. And she curls up with her little bear mate. And that's the end of the entire 17-page book.
Honestly, good.
Excellent. Okay. How do you feel?
Honestly, I've felt better.
What do you think? I want to hear like your thoughts after this, comparing it to other books we've done. Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I guess what I don't really know how to. I think that there's something that makes it a little bit better in other books when there's like is a more human quality to the animalish kind of person. And so I think I don't love that this is just a bear.
Well, and I think like sometimes we do such oddball things that they're so unrealistic, right? That this wouldn't be a thing. But bears
Right.
are real.
It needs a little more like whimsy and nonsense than the mention of the bear suddenly being magical at the very end, because I know it did that.
But like I wish that he would have at least been human for a second or been able to communicate with
Thank you.
her.
I think
it would have been
speaking words would have
human.
really mattered.
Yeah, because I think back to like that unicorn one really fucked me up in a not good way, where I was like, this makes me sick to my stomach.
But
I literally
at least there were like visions of people for a little bit. Like something was happening there where it wasn't just a unicorn.
Yeah, but it was so descriptive about like a unicorn mounting her. And there was a lot of description of private parts that I was like, but this one, you're right. It didn't have the private parts in there really.
And I'm glad.
I mean, like she described how it felt having him inside her, but we never got like a huge description of what it looked like on him. You know?
I'm fine with it.
Alrighty. Okay. Diversity. I mean, this is not diverse at all. We'll say it.
Redhead.
Nothing. Okay. A redhead. Maybe she's Irish. Maybe she's an immigrant. Who knows? But I don't think that it's a very diverse book. But the plot, I'm going to give the plot a 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm feeling very middle ground.
Yeah, well, I'm mad that there was no conclusion to the fact that, like, they make these sacrifices. What happens? Like, do the girls go back?
Will there never be a sacrifice again because he's seemingly fallen in love?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Is like,
Maybe.
Okay, there could have been one more paragraph or chapter of like, hey, all the girls ended up going home to their families and they believed that her sacrifice was the best of them all.
Yeah, they were like,
her ass.
He finally accepted a sacrifice, and now we don't need to do this anymore. And everyone, even her shitty family, was happy. The end.
Well, okay. So then what did you want to rate it?
I was going to go 3.
Okay, cool. Smut, there was a lot of licking. Like literally an absurd. I think there was more licking than there was penetrative sex.
I'm going to give it a 2 and say, not for me.
Well, okay. Ooh, I'm going to stick with you at 2. Yeah. I just like, I the bestiality thing is not my deal. Again, I think if we would have brought him in and made him a little more human and if you introduced him as this sorcerer that can shapeshift, then why didn't you give us a little of that?
I know you could make it 18 pages.
Yeah, just give us one more of those pages.
You can make it 18 pages.
100 more words, please.
Kind of splice throughout the story.
Yeah, just a little bit. Anyway, what about, I have the cover link there for you. I'm going to let you know now that the cover actually has 2 covers. One of them looks like it was from the 80s. But this is the one that came with my Kindle Unlimited. So I'm going to make you judge this one in particular.
Oh, well, let me make this larger for my old lady eyes to see.
First of all, that dress is not something of
this dress fits in none of the centuries you guessed this story.
This dress is 2012 for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So the cover, the background image, we're in a forest. It says the bear's mate, no apostrophe. Don't worry about it.
No, okay. This bothered the shit.
Doesn't matter. Don't need it. Don't want it.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because it's in all the listings.
Don't want it.
Bears with BEAR apostrophe S.
Yeah, that's how you would.
The actual cover does not have an apostrophe.
The bear's mate, not a single apostrophe in sight.
In fact, there should be multiple bears. Mate, I'm trying to think of what the actual meaning of this is. Then the bear's mate.
There's no.
I don't think it works.
It's confusing. No, it doesn't make any sense.
Never mind.
I can't confirm to you that this is a black bear, it might not be.
Yeah, I don't know if it is either.
But there's a big fuzzy bear and a lady whose hair, at least from what my screen is showing me, is absolutely not red.
No, for sure not.
And it's just kind of like a sexy lady in a little squat pose in a light pink off the shoulder from 2012 kind of ruffly dress.
Very fake tanned, a little orange. Yeah, no freckles. Also, she was supposed to have freckles.
Probably airbrushed out.
Yeah. And it looks like even her hair was either it's over her other shoulder or it was poorly cropped out.
It's really hard to tell. What I can tell you though is I love this big fluffy bear.
No, the bear looks so soft.
So plush. Yeah.
No,
big
I would.
bear.
She does talk at one point about putting her hands, like when it was on his shoulders, like it goes through the fur quite a bit. Like it's like cushy.
Yeah. This is absolutely not a black bear.
Wait, now I need a black bear. I need to compare it myself.
Look at one black bear.
No, because it's not black. It's a dark brown bear. It's not
starters. It's also got like a completely different head shape.
No, it does. Well, its head is down. So I don't know. Yeah. Okay. With all that said, how do you feel about the cover?
I love the cover.
Okay, what are you going to give the cover? Given its inaccuracies. Given its inaccuracies, you're going to give it a 4.
Yeah, because look how big that bear is. It's big and fluffy.
I'm going to give it a 3,
Where's the apostrophe? Who needs it? Throw it out the window.
I'm at a 53%, and you are at 60%.
We loved it.
Tell me what your Say Smut moment is.
All of it?
What? No. Is it the bear of it all? Is it the bear of it all?
Just the bear of it all.
Yeah.
I think it's the lack of any sort of real concrete communication between the two of them.
Yeah, that's fair. She assumed a lot and she didn't even vocalize it. That's part of my problem is she didn't even say to him and he nodded or something, you know?
Right. Yeah. No.
She just was like, this is a mating bite. And he was like,
mating bites and knowing looks between this woman and this bear.
He definitely wants me to drop this blanket right now.
He thinks I'm hot. I can
What
tell.
if he was like, respectfully, I am gay? This is not.
All of this is such a complete misunderstanding. The bear is,
I'm just a really good ally to women. Okay.
The bear is kind of trying to help her not die and is not doing a great job because it's a bear, hence all the biting. But like none of this is romantic.
It just gave me so many flashbacks to obviously the Triceratops one where she has to go kill one of the beasts and bring it back for the clan in order to fuck the clan's chief's
or whatever.
Son. And then
the other one, I remember that character being annoying.
No, she was terrible. Her
really
name was like Belinda or something. It was so bad. And then the other one it reminded me of was Given to the Ghoul, which she was sacrificed. Yes. And he was like, I've been taking the humans they sacrificed. So I was kind of hoping it was that type of deal where he was like, I've been actually taking multiple human wives this whole time.
And also,
I have a harem of women.
Sending people out here.
He's like, I just want to be alone, actually. Like, stop it.
Quit making us be responsible for feeding and taking care of all of these people.
He's like, we don't have the resources.
Sick of it.
I only have so many berries I can grab with my tongue.
Jeez.
So we know that we ranked this one pretty low, but you don't have to rate us or review us low. You know, on the podcast platform of your choosing, you could rate us, you know, something higher or, you know, enemies to lovers. We always
the ground.
Let's have a second chance romance. We would love that. You can also find us if you so choose on TikTok and Instagram at saysmutpodcast and send us your book recommendations via email at saysmutpodcast@gmail.com. And with that, I will say, you know, fuck your dads. Honestly, dad. No, I'm kidding. No,
that could just be taken so many different ways on this podcast. So you do really have to clarify what you mean by fuck your dad.
I mean, if you have a shitty dad, tell him that you're just going to go to the woods and be with a bear and he can make his own life decisions. You make yours. You're an adult. But in the meantime, also clean up in the river.
Yeah, I was going to say, and if nothing else, don't forget to bring your like shower flip-flops when you do it. Something
For
preferably with
sure.
some traction so you don't slip and fall down, but I wouldn't go in barefoot.
No. And support our local parks and national parks. That's really what we want. We want the Fat Bear Week back. And stay smutty, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.